$200,000 for one night, Part 1. My name is Michelle. I'm 33 now, a mother of two with a loving husband and a life I've built on my own terms. But there was a time, 8 years ago, when everything felt unstable. I was 25, fresh out of college, and buried in student loans. I was working as an assistant professor at a small community college, barely making enough to pay rent and groceries. I felt stuck and tired, constantly wondering how I'd get ahead. My father had moved abroad when I was a teenager and pretty much vanished from my life. My mom, Julia, remarried when I was 20. She married Adam, a man who was flashy, confident, and more than a little controlling. He was about 10 years younger than her, wealthy, and always had a smug way about him that made me uncomfortable. But my mom loved him, or at least she pretended to. Our relationship, my mom's and mine, was never warm. It got worse after my twin sister died when we were young. Since then, it always felt like there was a wall between us. We talked, sure, but nothing ever went deeper than the surface. One weekend, I decided to visit her house, mostly to save money. Being there meant I didn't have to buy groceries for a couple of days. Maybe I was also hoping, just a little, that we could have a real conversation for once, maybe even start to fix things between us. That afternoon, it was blazing hot. I went for a jog to clear my head. When I came back, soaked in sweat, I found a note in the kitchen. Went to visit a friend. Adam's gone out for groceries. Be back soon. Perfect. I thought I had the house to myself, so I headed straight to the shower, not bothering to grab clothes from the guest bedroom. I figured I had time. I wrapped myself in a towel and started down the hallway, thinking I could change quickly and relax. But the moment I turned the corner, I froze. Adam was standing at the end of the hallway. He wasn't supposed to be there, and the way he looked at me, it didn't feel right. At first, I thought maybe we had just startled each other, but then he smiled. It wasn't the kind of smile a stepfather should ever give. He stepped closer. "You're beautiful, you know that?" he said quietly, his eyes fixed on me. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. My brain was trying to catch up, trying to make sense of what was happening. Then he said it. $200,000, one night. He said it like he was making a business offer, like I was just something to be bought. I couldn't breathe. At first, I thought I misheard, but the look on his face told me I hadn't. I finally managed to speak, my voice trembling. "What the hell did you just say?" He didn't flinch, he actually smirked. "You heard me," he said. "Think about it, Michelle, 200 grand. You could pay off your loans, start over, no one has to know." And that's when the horror turned into rage. "Are you out of your mind?" I shouted, stepping back. "What kind of person do you think I am?" But he just shrugged, acting like I was the one overreacting. "Calm down," he said. "It's just an offer. You don't have to make a big deal out of it." A big deal? He had just tried to buy me like I was nothing more than a product, and now he was asking me to calm down? I couldn't take it anymore. I ran back into the guest room, slammed the door shut, and locked it behind me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely twist the lock. I leaned my back against the door, trying to breathe. I felt trapped. Not just in that room, but in the whole situation. I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry, but most of all, I wanted to disappear. I sat down on the floor and hugged my knees. My mind was spinning. What was I supposed to do? Tell my mom? She'd never believe me. She never believed me when it mattered, not when I told her about the things that hurt, not when I needed her to stand up for me. If anything, she'd probably twist this around and say I did something wrong, that I misunderstood. Through the thin walls, I could hear the TV playing in the living room. Adam had made himself comfortable, like nothing had just happened. I felt sick. Then, finally, I heard the front door open. My mom's voice rang out casually, "Michelle, I'm home." For a second, I felt relieved. She was back, she could help. But just as fast, a new feeling sank in. Dread. Because deep down, I already knew. She wouldn't believe me. Everything changed that night, the sound of tires screeching, the sharp, painful scream. It was like a movie replaying in my head, over and over again. I didn't realize I'd started speaking until JN gave me a small nod, letting me continue. He didn't interrupt, just sat there, patient, waiting for me to say what I needed to say. "It was an accident," I finally said, my voice shaky. But my mom never saw it that way. After it happened, she wasn't the same. She stopped hugging me, stopped looking at me with any love. It was like she just shut me out completely. I sniffed, wiping away the tears that had started falling down my cheeks. I hated crying in front of people, but I couldn't stop it now. And tonight, it was just like before, like she blames me all over again, like I'm the bad one. I don't even know why I thought she'd believe me this time. JN stayed quiet, just being there was enough. The next few days were a blur. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't focus. I kept replaying everything Adam said, his smug voice, the way he made it seem like I was the one overreacting. And worse, my mom believed him. She didn't even pause to ask me what happened. She just took his side, like always. But the more I thought about it, the more something inside me started to shift. I wasn't going to stay quiet this time. I wasn't going to let Adam get away with it. I needed to find a way to show the truth. To prove to my mom, and to myself, that I wasn't crazy. That's when an idea came to me late one night as I stared at the ceiling, unable to sleep. I would record him. If I could get Adam to say it again, just once, I'd have proof. Something real, something he couldn't deny, something my mom wouldn't be able to twist. It made my heart race just thinking about it, but I knew it was the only way. So I came up with a plan. I would pretend to change my mind, pretend I was confused, that I was reconsidering everything he said. I hated the idea, it made my skin crawl, but if I wanted to catch him, I had to make him comfortable enough to say it again. That evening, I called him. My voice shook, but I tried to sound unsure, even a little curious. Adam, I said, I've been thinking about what happened the other day. Maybe we misunderstood each other. Maybe we should talk, somewhere quiet. There was a pause, my stomach tightened. But then he answered, calm and smug, just like always. I'm glad you're thinking this through. Michelle, where do you want to meet? I suggested a quiet park nearby. He agreed right away. After I hung up, I opened the voice recorder app on my phone and practiced what I'd say. I needed to stay calm. I couldn't let him see how disgusted I really felt. When I saw Adam approaching the bench where I waited, I hit record and slid my phone into my jacket pocket. My hands were sweaty, but I forced myself to smile. Hey, I said softly, thanks for meeting me. I wanted to talk. He smiled that same smile that made my stomach turn. I knew you'd come around, he said, sitting next to me. Sometimes people just need time to think. I nodded. Yeah, maybe I did overreact. I was shocked, and maybe I misunderstood. Then I looked at him. But, I just want to understand, when you offered the money, what did you really mean? He didn't hesitate. I thought we had an understanding, he said, leaning in a little. You're smart, you're beautiful. I figured you'd see it for what it was, a chance, for both of us. I kept my voice even. But $200,000? That's a lot of money. What exactly were you offering? He laughed quietly. I wasn't expecting anything, just testing the waters. I know you've got money problems. I thought it might help us both. I could barely hide how sick I felt inside. Help us both how? I asked quietly. He leaned back like he was totally comfortable. You know what I meant, Michelle, don't play dumb. No one else had to know. I nodded slowly, keeping my face calm even though I wanted to scream. So you were serious about the offer? Of course I was, he said. I don't make offers I don't mean. I thought you'd appreciate it. I forced a small smile. Thanks for clearing that up. I just needed to hear it again. He seemed so proud of himself, so sure he was winning. I let a few seconds pass. I mean, you're not wrong, I said softly, pretending to be conflicted. I am struggling, with bills, with everything. I saw the glint in his eyes, the way he shifted slightly closer. You don't have to struggle, he said, almost like he was being kind. This could make your life easier, for both of us. I nodded like I was thinking it over. I guess I just need a little time, I said, standing up slowly. Can I let you know in a couple of days? Of course, he said, smiling. Take all the time you need. I turned and walked away, my phone still recording every word. My hands were trembling, but not from fear anymore. I had him. Everything was on tape. Now it was just a matter of time.